and welcome to Unlock Your Potential with me, Elena Skinner. And today I have a guest. His name is Clemons, and he is a relationship coach. And since we all want to have a deep connection and great intimacy with our partner or our future partners, so I thought it would be a great idea to discuss it with Joel and see what he can suggest to keep that intimacy and deep connection with your partner. And so here he is. Hi, Joel. How are you doing?
Hi, Elena. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. Great to have you unlock your potential.
I appreciate being on your show. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Could you tell people more about yourself, what you do?
Absolutely. I'm a love, life, and relationship coach in Vero Beach, Florida. And my specialty is helping people understand themselves better, as well as understanding their partner better, and how to express their thoughts and feelings in a constructive way, and also how to stop living in fear and learn how to live in love.
Everybody wants to have actually a deep connection, great intimacy, right? We all want to feel love. We all want to feel connected. We want to trust, right? We want to feel like we're safe, not only safe physically and mentally, we're able to share things, but also emotionally, that we can share how we feel about people or share our past, right? Or whatever in life, we want people know us on a deeper level. And yet I feel like we don't know how to create that connection and how to create that intimacy and trust each other. And it seems to me people confused, and also people don't understand how femininity needs to be loved and how masculinity needs to be loved. Could you clarify that, please?
Sure. Well, like you said, basically we all want to feel emotionally safe so that we can open our heart and allow someone else in. To do that, we look for certain things. We look for reassurance, validation, trust, respect, for somebody who not only acknowledges our feelings, but they accept us for who we are. So what people really want, for example, with what a woman looks for in a man, is a man who is strong enough to not only be confident, but to protect her, support her, but gentle enough to be compassionate, empathetic, understanding, sensitive to her feelings. And basically what a woman is looking for, or a man is looking for, is a woman who makes him feel needed. It's very important for us as men to feel like we are needed to do things, to accomplish things, to help and support. We want to feel valued. We want to feel that we can be nurtured with positive reinforcement, because love is not about conflict. It's about surrender, friendship, trust, and respect.
What I hear basically is women, they want to feel safe. They want to be seen, right? They want to be heard. And the men, from your words, they want to be admired and praised who they are, right? I think if you look at childhood, man admired actually by his mom. She would say, "Hey boy, come here, I will catch you. I trust, I believe in you, right? You can trust me." So, and he goes and does something for her, right? I feel like a man always looking for that from a woman.
Well, we need that reassurance that we're good enough. And that we need to know that we are strong enough, smart enough, or we're able to provide, protect, and take care of our family. So we are basically are looking to demonstrate that we are good enough. So that's why we have that strong desire to demonstrate our value, to feel needed, to do whatever we can to feel good enough about ourselves. So we do struggle with that, and that's why we do look for that admiration, that appreciation for who we are as a man.
Yeah, I see that. In today's society, I see if a woman start to take lots of roles on herself, masculine, and men are masculine, then we start to clash, and we can create really relationship.
Right. Well, women tend to go into their masculine energy when they don't feel safe, when they feel like they need to protect themselves. They need to be strong for themselves, for their family, for their children. So when she's with a man that makes her feel safe, it allows her to be in her more natural state of feminine energy. If a man is too much in his feminine energy, he becomes too emotionally needy and clingy and isn't exuding the kind of confidence that she looks for in order for her to feel safe.
Yeah, that's so true. It's amazing. Even if we actually take the roles on ourselves, I am a feminine woman, you know, I want to be admired, just being a beautiful woman, being sometimes a girl, right? Being strong when I need to be strong, when I have to make decisions. But I also want to be that woman, nurturing and loving, and when I need to be feminine and sexy and flirty. And women also want to be admired for it and beloved the way they are as well, you know, without putting on them some specific standards of society, because standards are fashion. Fashion goes on and off, right? It changes. So whatever can change around, you want to know that you loved as a human being, as a person. But yet what I see is people sometimes start the relationships, it goes beautiful and amazing, and suddenly they start to pull back. And it's mostly happened because of the fears. How to actually recognize those fears, and what fears actually do to people. Can you talk more about it, please?
Well, first of all, if we're struggling with fear or anxiety, the first step is to try to acknowledge where this fear is really coming from, where this insecurity is really coming from. Chances are it's coming from a past trauma, a past emotional wound, and we're now projecting that onto our partner. So the first thing we want to do is try to figure out where this fear is really based, what it's really based in, where it's really coming from, and be able to talk to our partner and express how we're feeling without accusing them, without burdening them with feeling responsible for how we feel or for this past emotional wound. We do that through communicating how we really feel, saying something to the effect of, I'm struggling right now, I'm not okay, I'm dealing with some fears or insecurities that are coming up, I could really use some more love and reassurance right now. So then, in order to create greater and deeper connection and intimacy and to alleviate these fears, we have to start with listening. Not listening to respond, but listening to try to understand each other better. It's even said that love and listening are so similar that it's often hard to tell them apart. So we want to not just understand or not just hear what someone is saying to us, but why are they saying it to us? Where is it really coming from? What pain, what insecurity are they really dealing with? To do that effectively, what we want to do is try to remove the conditions that prevent love. Some of the conditions that prevent us from being empathetic in the moment and understanding in the moment are judgment, criticism, shame, blame, guilt. If we're feeling that and projecting it onto our partner, they're not going to feel heard and understood. They're going to feel criticized. They're going to feel guilt. They're going to feel blamed. So step one is really just listening. How do they really feel? Why do they really feel this way? And then trying to figure out how we can support them through it, how we can be a teammate and work together to overcome whatever is going on.
There's about 40 types of different fears. And the two most, I would say, well-known fears where everybody feel is, I'm not going to be good enough and I'm not going to be loved enough. That's all what we're mostly afraid of. When suddenly we start to pull away, we recognize it's nothing wrong with the person, and I cannot punish person for my previous experiences because they have nothing to do with this person.
What I recommend is asking ourselves 3 very important questions. The first question is, do I need to be afraid at this moment? Not am I afraid, should I be afraid, but do I need to be afraid? Well, the answer is always going to be no. I don't actually need to be afraid. So therefore, I don't actually need to have anxiety. So then the second question is, am I choosing love at this moment? Well, obviously, if we're being triggered by fear and insecurity, we're not consciously choosing love. Our brain is fear-based. It's this default setting is fear. So our first reaction is normally survival instinct. It's fear. So then we have to consciously choose love. Well, what does that mean? It means choosing empathy. It means feeling their pain in our heart. It means having empathy for what we're going through as well. So if we align ourselves with love instead of fear, then we won't make fear-based decisions. We'll make love-based decisions, which are made from with courage, with strength, with compassion. So then the third question we can ask ourselves is, what story am I telling myself at this moment? Because we are always telling ourselves a story, always. That's how we live our life. We see things, we hear things, we create a story about it, we give it meaning. That meaning now becomes a belief. And then whatever that belief is becomes our reality. So by asking ourselves those three questions, we can take control of our thoughts. If we take control of our thoughts, we can take control of how we react to our thoughts. This helps us to be more deliberate in what we say and what we do and how we treat ourselves and how we treat others.
We often hear about unconditional love, and I personally choose to live with unconditional love. And for me, it means you really send and give unconditional love. Like you just go there with all joy inside. And I feel like people usually overthink and they don't give it fully. They just never experience that unconditional, joyful, amazing, full of passion love, because they prevent themselves with giving half love all the time.
Right. Well, oftentimes people get confused as to what unconditional love really is. They think it's that you love somebody no matter what they do, how they treat you, and that's not the case. It's not putting conditions on your love for them. In other words, it's no strings attached. Your love is a free gift to them. You gift them your love, your trust, your respect.
That's a beautiful saying.
Right. So if a person, say, doesn't appreciate your gift, then you're not obligated to continue giving them that gift of your love. So it's not about creating unrealistic expectations of what you're going to receive in return. It's understanding what you deserve, knowing your worth, knowing that you deserve the same kind of love that you give. So when we practice unconditional love, what we're doing is practicing giving our love away, being in service by showing up, supporting others, helping them, not giving to get, not conducting business, not trying to get something from somebody because we're giving them our love, but we simply just want them to be happy. We simply just want them to get the kind of love that they actually deserve. So most people struggle to have that experience of unconditional love. Some people never experience it until they have their own children. And then they finally understand what unconditional love is supposed to be, what it's supposed to be like, how to give it, but also how to receive it. Many people are good at giving love, but they struggle to receive love. They struggle to let other people give them back that same kind of love, because deep down, they struggle to feel that they're deserving of it. So we have to start with ourselves. We have to start with having unconditional love for ourselves, which, like I said earlier, is by removing the conditions that prevent it. So if we can't speak negatively about ourselves, we can't compare ourselves to others, we can't feel the need to compete with others, because otherwise we end up judging ourselves, falling short of feeling that we are deserving of that love.
As it says, we go always with two hands, right? One is just give, another to receive, and you can't have one or the other. You have to have all in balance, so you will give and receive. And it's interesting what you said. We give a gift, our unconditional love, and there is a saying that if someone doesn't take your gift, you are the one in line who's gonna get it back. So you give unconditional love, and if someone doesn't take it, it's gonna get back to you. So make sure that you actually get back regardless unconditional love.
Yeah, because what you're giving is a gift from you that even if the person doesn't know it's from you, you still benefit, because you get to receive the gift of your own love by giving to others. So there's no love ever wasted, because the love that we give to others, we also are giving to ourselves.
I often see, especially today in society, judgment pointing out in someone. We're basically showing ourselves that there are some things within us we didn't want to face. We stop judging others when we finally recognize those issues and start to admit them and love ourselves the way we are, and then we stop judge others, and it means that we basically work on ourselves through those judgments.
Right. Well, what we have to understand is that judgment, guilt, shame, blame, these are all components of the ego. They're all designed to keep us in line, to make us conform and comply so that we can fit into society, to our different cultures, so that we can gain acceptance and approval and validation from others. But they have no place in real love. Real love doesn't judge. Real love is about acceptance and understanding and support. How can I build you up? How can I support you? How can I help you to love yourself more? So we have to realize that every time that we're judging, we're criticizing, we're shaming, we're blaming, what we're doing is we're letting our ego take over. That doesn't allow us to act from a place of love. That makes us act from a place of fear.
Yeah, whereas love, especially if you want to create truly magnificent, beautiful, unconditional love, you have to understand there is no place for ego or judgment.
Right. The ego has no place in a relationship. It serves its purpose when it comes to helping us to achieve things, to succeed, in our job, in our society, but it has no place in a relationship, because otherwise what happens is when the ego is part of a relationship, you form an employer-employee type relationship where somebody is trying to be the boss, and that just won't work. You need to be able to accept each other equally and build that friendship, build that trust, build that respect with each other. And when you think about it, all the best things that we enjoy in life don't really involve the ego. Like when people have children, or they playing with their animals, walking in nature, looking up the stars, there's no ego involved in that. That's just the person connecting with love, with life, with their spirituality. And that's what allows us to have freedom.
Vulnerability in this case also very important. I think vulnerability, that's what is really, I think, courageous and brave, right? And that's what creates also part of intimacy, creation of intimacy, instead of actually to show your ego pull you back. It's scary, right? And you want to create trust worthy relationships, and I think vulnerability is a beautiful thing.
Being vulnerable is actually more about being able to trust yourself than even the other person. It's saying, I'm not afraid to be vulnerable because I trust myself and believe in myself, and I can get through anything. So whatever happens, I can deal with the consequences. I can accept whatever happens because I trust myself to be able to get through it. If we don't trust ourselves enough, if we don't believe in ourselves enough or have enough faith in our ability to handle things, then we will project it onto the other person and make them responsible for our vulnerability. We will make them responsible for our pain, for our insecurities, instead of understanding that we need to be the ones to commit to our own choices of our own free will, and then be able to live and accept whatever consequences come with those choices and decisions. So that way we're not making somebody else responsible for our choices, our feelings, or our life.
It's all about communication, to get to know each other better, not to judge each other, but for know how to love each other correctly.
Right. Well, that's the problem with the ego, is that it resists being vulnerable because it's constantly trying to seek acceptance, approval, validation. It's fearful. Essentially, our egos are cowards because we're constantly don't feel like we're good enough. We're always looking for more approval and validation. We tend to bully ourselves or bully others when we get caught up in our ego. So it's understanding that if we want to be vulnerable, we can't let our ego be in control. We have to lead with our heart. We have to draw our strength and our courage from who we really are, who we really want to be, from our heart, and then lead with that. If we can lead with love, we can do anything. If we're caught up in the ego, we're going to be too afraid to be vulnerable, too afraid to connect, too afraid to be seen for who we really are.
Everything, too afraid to live, right?
Right.
Only because ego is a self-image being created in your head, not who you are, but it's been actually created and it's not real, but it's something you want to show to society. So it has nothing to do with something you build for the rest of your life, which is love. It's a person who must love you for the way who you are and not as a way. Would you say?
Right. Trying to get somebody to love us through our ego is the same as trying to get them to love a mask, to
Yeah.
love a character, to love a false sense of self. It lacks genuineness, sincerity, and authenticity. So how could somebody really love us and accept us if they don't know the real us, if we're hiding behind this mask that we think we need to protect ourselves with?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like if you really want to have a relationship, I think people should stop overthinking and going with ego, because if person will not gonna love you or accept you the way you are, this is not your person. And it is important, I think, to go to give, not just receive, because as soon as you go just receive, you set your relationship already for failure. You don't go
Right,
to judge, you go to give, and you go to love. And
right,
if you want to get it, you have to learn how to do it, first of all, by yourself.
right. When both people in the relationship see their relationship as a place to go to give,
Mhm.
then they both receive, because now they're trying to do whatever they can to make each other happy. They're trying to do whatever they can to build each other up in love. So they're actually leading each other in love. And that's creates a beautiful dance where two people work together and they create something beautiful. They create something that is passionate, that's loving, supportive, and they do this because they are being vulnerable with each other. They are letting the other person in and not trying to change them and make them be who they want them to be. I found that the only real fair expectation to have in a relationship is that your partner would never intentionally try to hurt you. Now, we will unintentionally hurt each other because of our own wounds, our own past, our own issues that we have to deal with. But in a healthy relationship, both people are doing everything they can to not ever intentionally trigger or hurt or wound the other person. If you have that kind of trust and respect and friendship in a relationship, you don't have to worry about anything else. You don't have to worry about anyone else coming between you. You don't have to worry about dishonesty, lies, cheating, betrayal. You don't have to worry about those things, because you know that your partner is going to protect your heart.
Hmm.
They'll do everything they can to make sure that they don't do anything to hurt you.
Yeah, very true. What are 5 things people should practice in a relationship to make their connection stronger?
Well, what I've found is that has helped me in my own relationship is just being open, honest, transparent. Say how you really feel. Instead of just saying, I'm upset, I'm in a bad mood, say how you really feel. Ask for what you want. So, learning how to ask for what you want in a way that rewards your partner for loving you instead of complaining and
Mhm.
pushing them away for not getting what you want. So,
Mhm.
the first one is being open and honest and transparent. The second is learning how to ask for what you want by using positive reinforcement. So you
Mhm.
reward them for loving you.
For
The third,
example, can you give me example of positive reinforcement? Just an example.
well, say you're struggling and you need more attention, and you
Mhm.
feel like your partner's not giving you that attention.
Yeah.
Instead of getting upset and saying something like, "You don't care about me. You don't care about my feelings. Um,
Mhm.
you don't you don't give me what I need."
Mhm.
What you say to them is, "I'm struggling right now, and I could really use some love, some extra love from you right now. And I know that you want me to be happy. I know that you love me and you care about me. I know that we can work through anything together." That would be one example of giving somebody positive reinforcement that rewards them for loving you and choosing you.
Mhm.
Another one, just as simple as maybe they're not spending as much time with you, and you don't say anything, and then until it builds up to the point where you get upset and say, "You don't want to spend time with me. You just want to hang out with your friends."
Mhm.
Instead of saying that, say, "I really miss you and I would love to spend some more time with you. Do you think maybe we could set an hour aside this evening just to do something together?" You see,
Mhm.
that rewards the partner for loving them. It makes them want to support you, want
Mhm.
to help you.
Mhm. Open communication, positive reinforcement, and another 3.
The third one would be to give each other the space and freedom to be themselves without trying to control or micromanage or change the person, understanding that love is freedom. You want your partner to feel more free, more respected, more appreciated, because then why would they want to go anywhere else? You see, because you're accepting them for who they are, not trying to make them fit who you want them to be. Otherwise, you're just falling in love with the idea of a person instead of who that person really is.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to give each other the space and the freedom to be themselves, to allow them with all their idiosyncrasies, their faults, their flaws, whatever it is, give them space to be themselves. The fourth one, honestly, is just to build each other up in love. Make it easier for your partner to love, respect, and value themselves. Build them up in love. The fifth one would be to learn and practice each other's love language.
Mm-hmm.
That's a difficult one for people because
Yeah.
how we love people, how we love somebody is we think we're giving them the kind of love that they want.
Mm-hmm.
What we're actually doing is trying to teach them how to love us. We're trying to teach them our love language. So that creates a lot of misunderstanding, miscommunication. So we need to try to learn to speak our partner's love language and be deliberate, practice it, and give them what they need in order to make them feel loved in their own special way.
This is so true, because when people love you the way they want to be loved, you never will feel loved. You will never feel appreciated and loved, but we need to communicate our languages of love. Do you have any special rituals, maybe in the morning, that help you to perform on a better level through the day?
What I do when I wake up in the morning is I consciously decide how I want to feel. Because there's a lot of times where there's pressures, things that'll stress us out or cause us anxiety. Maybe we feel like we're letting somebody down, we're not doing good enough. And that negative kind of self-talk can set the tone for the rest of our day. So I try to start my day by deciding how I want to feel. Then I also try to do things to help me relax in the morning. Start my day off relaxed, have peace of mind, and then I like to direct my thoughts towards how I can help others. Because when I do that, then it sets the tone for the rest of my day to be one of having peace, empathy, compassion. So it prevents me from having negative self-talk. It prevents me from feeling bad about myself, feeling judged, feeling bad that I'm not doing more, for example. So I like to do things in the morning, especially, that help me to feel peace of mind, help me to relax, and help me to be able to focus on what really matters and how I want to feel about myself.
What for you personally, what makes you feel relaxed?
I like to be creative. That helps me. So I focus my energies on trying to figure things out. Writing helps me. I get to express thoughts and feelings that I didn't even know I had through writing. That allows me to tap into my deeper thoughts and deeper feelings, my unconscious thoughts. So that way I can express and find even more of my own truth. So I enjoy writing. I enjoy doing things that challenge my mind, to help me to push my limits, help me to figure things out. Because when I feel like I'm able to figure things out, it does give me more of a sense of control in my life. Because then I feel empowered to be able to come up with solutions and figure things out for myself.
Beautiful. Could you please tell people how they can find you through some social media or any contact information? I definitely think people need to know it.
I use my Instagram page, which is The Gentleman Wolf. It's at the.gentleman.wolf. And also use my Facebook page, The Gentleman Wolf Relationship Coaching. And I use these pages as a way to introduce myself to people. So that way they can read the things that I write, the kind of posts that would help them in their relationship with themselves and with their partner are right there, so they can see what kind of coach I am. It's a way for them to get to know my style, how I like to help people in the way I can help them.
Yeah, I read your posts. They are always amazing, and some of them actually make me actually go so deep to my heart, make me tear. But there is lots of truth saying, and I think people definitely need to check out Joel's page. It's a really thank you so much for being a part of Unlock Your Potential.
My pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely, it is Joe Clemons, relationship coach. And I am Elena Skinner, and it is Unlock Your Potential. Thank you so much again, Joel. And guys, if you want to have an amazing love, beautiful connection with a person, deep connection, please go to relationship to give, not to receive, and love unconditionally. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.